it's Katie here at Radiant Strength Club. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. This is a little introduction video to explain that I will be chatting today with my friend Maria. We met about 4 or 5 years ago in doing some acting training. We come from a similar-ish background in terms of our experiences, and I thought she'd be a first guest, a great first guest to come on and join and talk all things female strength, strength empowerment, what strength means to us, our personal experiences, how we're moving through it, and as early 30-year-old gals, what we're looking for now in life with strength, body image, mental clarity, and empowerment. So just a gentle note, I do touch on some past experiences with exercise addiction and bad body image, mental health. I don't go into any detail on this, but I do touch upon it. So if it does stir some things in you that you think, this is not that great inside, I think I'd love some support. I'd love to chat to someone. Please do reach out to a mental health practitioner or your GP. I'm not having this conversation for any medical or psychological advice. It is simply opening a conversation between two women about topics that I do believe we don't chat about enough. So hope you enjoy. DM me, comment, like if you think that it was something of interest. I would be interested to hear if you'd like to have a conversation with me. I'll definitely be having a little think about who I'd like to chat to next, what kind of topics, different topics, all things fitness, exercise, mental health, the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, and how we can be the best versions of ourselves in this 2026 and onwards. Thank you very much. Enjoy, guys.
My hair is so greasy.
No, it does. I was actually thinking when it came out, I was like, oh, it looks so sleek, looks so good.
No. This is natural grease because I don't
It
like to
doesn't
wash
look
my
like
hair
it's
too
greasy.
much.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where now you get the self-tape through and you're like, oh God. Now, do you know what? Like some influencers, I think that it's a good habit actually to think that you might be seen any day. And so like you never know who you'll bump into or like the
Yeah.
self-tape that might come through. And you kind of need to be a little bit more effort. That is something I need to work on as a woman, like, or as a person, as a human. I need to make a little bit more effort because I do think in our industry, even though I don't like to admit it, there is still there is still an importance in your image for obvious reasons.
Oh my God, yeah.
Uh,
We can have like 7 different conversations about it as well. I was thinking about it recently as well about yeah, body image, but also in the acting industry, but also the pressure to always look super presentable,
yeah,
which is ridiculous. But yeah.
totally. Yeah, and on that kind of note of casting and body
Mhm.
image, I think that I've had to accept that even though, look, I just want to put it out here, like I know I have like a naturally leaner frame, but I haven't really put any like full on body images on my social media yet, like where I'm stood straight to
Okay.
the camera because I guess I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous to because we all like to kind of do the angles and stuff, which make us feel
Yeah.
better. But I think at some point I might because I've got a very like straight up and down body, like which is one of the reasons why I never felt very feminine because I don't have nice hips, or I shouldn't even say nice because that's just my head saying that
Mhm.
straight down is not nice. But you have to come to peace with that with casting, don't you? Because you're like,
Yeah.
well, yes, this is my face, but I don't want to compromise my like cognitive health just because that might get me a role. So I've had to come to peace with that and go, fuck it. Like I want to be healthier, happier. And also I have to say people like Florence Pugh for me was a huge help.
Yes.
I think she's been like revolutionary in the acting world for actresses because she had so much shit about her body and she's just fully owned it. She's stunning. She's a great
Yeah.
actor. And
Yeah.
her standing up for herself in her body has helped me. And then there are other people I notice now in like Hollywood that I just got like a natural body and I like just love it. Every time I see it, I'm like, yes. There's people like Jodie Comer. She's just got like
Mhm.
a strong body. She's not I don't think she's ever like shrunk herself.
Yeah.
She's strong. It suits her casting. And I do find it a bit sad when I see some actors who I think they've shrink back, and I think, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on for them, and I don't want to judge. But it is really
Yeah.
another
It is
conversation.
sad. It is sad because I also I can see it in myself as well, especially with the awkward, yeah, straight on sort of the full body slates. They always like there's just no way to make them look good. That's
Yeah.
it. There's
You
just
want to
no
like
way.
pop slightly, and then
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
then you're like, but that's the truth. And then be like, I know, but just like,
Can I
you have
just
to
like
accept
pop a
it.
little leg? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but it's really awkward, and that's just it. And I think having that, you mentioned it, the a kind like a neutral attitude towards your body. This is just my body. This is just one angle of my body as well, which
Yeah.
is probably not very flattering. It's fine. I've got other angles, and the same goes like for your face as an actor as well. We sometimes like we feel awkward because. All the self tapes now, especially, that's all in your face, and I don't think as humans we're meant to look at our own faces and bodies as much as we
Yeah.
do as actors and as
And like
humans in
only in that
general.
kind of frame, because
Yeah.
your energy is your whole body. And yeah, it's I think one final thing on that of the body with casting is, you know, I really don't think that like tomorrow I'm going to be doing a naked sex scene. So like I really have nothing to be worried about. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's, sometimes I think to myself, Katie, like to be honest, the only reason that the
Mhm.
audience are going to see your full body is if you're doing a naked sex scene or you've just come out the
Mhm.
shower or something. And that is a really tiny proportion of the work you would be doing. And even in a lot of projects, characters never do that. So
Mhm.
you have costume on, and so I think it's
Yeah.
like not letting that kind of cripple you from moving forward. And that's whether it's in acting or any goal. It's like, your partner, if you have one, loves you. Like they do not care if you have
Yeah.
a pound extra on your body. And so it's just it all goes back to like that compassion, doesn't it? And that just real acceptance. And like you said, just not overthinking it too much, and just thinking about how
Yeah.
can I want to strengthen my body and my mind.
Yes.
It. Firstly, I would love to hear if where you're comfortable. I'd love to
Mhm.
understand and chat through like your first experiences of maybe like not liking your body, and
Mhm.
any first memories, or just kind of that journey really, and so that myself and with your consent, anyone that kind of hears a conversation like this can understand like maybe they're not
Yeah.
alone in that, or yeah, where it kind of really began for you in terms of maybe thinking that I should change my natural body. Um,
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I'm comfortable with talking about it. I think it started for me. So I was born in the 90s, so I think we all kind of grew up with being bombarded by the media
mm,
with images of very thin bodies.
yeah.
With I also grew up in a culture which kind of allows sort of comments on a woman's body from
Mm,
family, especially
mm,
on a girl's body, young girl's body as well. So for me, yeah, I think it started pretty early. I would say I can't remember the exact age, but I would say when I was 9 or 10.
mm,
And I started kind of I started to be aware of how women are perceived, and started seeing it in media, but also heard it from women in my family who were talking about their own bodies in ways that weren't very kind and
yeah.
weren't very, yeah, there wasn't much acceptance. The body positivity, it didn't exist back then.
Mm,
It wasn't very normal for women, like my mom, other women in my family, her friends, to discuss their bodies in a way
mm,
that was really cruel.
mm,
Um, and now thinking back, it feels really really sad that I kind of grew up hearing all of that, and even if it wasn't directed at me, it still had a big impact on how I grew up seeing my own body, and then how I grew up seeing my body changing as a teenager. Um, I gained some weight when I was a teenager, which is completely normal because your body changes. And I think that was when I was around 14, 15, 16. That was probably the worst time period in my life when body image wise. It was very difficult um, to to be in this body and to feel comfortable and to look in the mirror and to get dressed and to wear things that I wanted to wear
Mm.
and to be perceived by other people as well. Yeah, I think that's my experience, but I think that's also the experience of a lot of women. I don't know how it was for you personally, but I know we were
Yeah.
around the same age, so I'm guessing some
Yeah.
of the things. Yeah,
Yeah, for me, so for me, like I've always had quite an athletic body and I was kind of I didn't really notice it until I was about 10 actually, and I went to ballet and I just was a bit more athletic in my leotard.
hmm yeah,
And I kind of, when you kind of put your arms up and you've got like a slightly different structure here, where I've got the kind of a bit of a
yeah,
stronger muscle. And I was like 10 years old. And I remember not liking that and think,
mm,
and obviously I must have, I don't know what was going on in my head at that 10-year-old self to think that that was not normal because I clearly hadn't seen that in other girls. I think I remember explicitly looking around in my ballet class and friends and no one had like the kind of muscular structure that I had. And
yeah,
so that was my first experience about 10 of being like, oh, I don't like this. But
yeah,
it was a bit sad because the don't like, I think, is just because we think that we don't fit in. And then, like you're saying, with kind of comments or other people maybe not owning their bodies around you, you just absorb
hmm
that kind of the normal negative attitudes towards your body.
yeah.
So
You
yes,
kind of, yeah. Sorry,
both,
go ahead.
I think both, I guess it's probably very common then that girls like have this from like a young age, they start to
Yeah.
look at their body. And then I guess we live with it for probably like 20 years before we start to actually go, no, I'm sick of this now. Like I want to do something about this. I want to challenge these thoughts.
Yeah.
Until probably like, I don't know how old you were when you started to think, I don't like these thoughts anymore. I don't know if there was an organic journey of that through your own healing or if it was a moment that you realized, I want to challenge this.
I think so. I started thinking about it differently, probably when the whole sort of body positivity movement started to be more present in media. So that was probably when I was around, I don't know, 1920. Um, and I started simply seeing women with different body types and women speaking out about it publicly. And that was really helpful. But at the same time, so I was super supportive of other women, and I would never think, anything wrong of anyone's body type. But
Yeah.
then towards myself, I was still
Mm.
very, very strict, and it was very difficult to also approach myself with that open mind, and with that understanding. And yeah, it's I think it really helped the fact that I was seeing, yeah, different body types on film, on TV, different models
Yeah.
on runways. That was a big thing for me as well. So
Yeah.
seeing plus size models or just mid size models as well.
Yeah.
Um, but then yeah, it's still quite difficult to really, yeah, I think I'm still on that journey, but it's gotten, yeah, much better since I was like in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I was sort of going through different phases, but I think I'm in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah, definitely. It is interesting, isn't it, how representation, we all have a version, like we all need to see something out there that is us,
Yeah.
don't we? We all need to have that. And I think in loads of forms, but it is interesting as well with body shapes. I agree with you. Um, I can't quite pinpoint when I can't quite pinpoint because for me, it was a bit different. I had to kind of accept that the striving for smallness was not making was I was unhealthy physically. I was
Hmm.
unhealthy. So I think I got to the point when I was just mentally just not as strong as I could be, and I
Yeah,
kind of I wasn't physically as healthy, and I thought, oh God, I've got to do something about this. And
yeah,
actually, for me, it happened quite accidentally that I pushed myself into um like reducing my cardio, for example, and kind of leaning towards strength training. That actually happened quite accidentally, which is why I really appreciate the challenge for women to kind of make a decision, because we're so it's so sensitive, I feel, to acknowledge that we need to change our mindset towards our body, because we're so
yeah,
ingrained in us. And we, I hear so many kind of passing comments all the time in workplaces like, oh yeah, oh, but like I'm just a bit of a failure with that diet, or like, oh, I hate my body, and everyone
yes.
laughs, and it's so ingrained in our society. So what my challenge will be, I think, as a coach moving forward is to
Hmm.
and I think it's going to take a bit longer in what I would like to create. I think it's going to take a bit longer because it's not like a quick fix sale. It's like starting to question our thinking, and
Yeah.
that's more sensitive. And I think that this is kind of why I think, well, I'd like to start conversations, because it allows people to think and pause, and it might take them a few months for that to go in, but in time, hopefully, we all have those moments where we start, like you said, with representation and me happening kind of accidentally, organically. We lean towards something like we want to try strength training as opposed to
Hmm.
just trying to diminish ourselves all the time.
Yes.
Mm, yeah, so yeah, I went off on
I
a tangent there, but
yeah.
yeah, go on. Did you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because what you said about sort of striving to be smaller,
Mm,
um, I think that's a big thing for women as well. And it was also a big thing for me growing up, because I was always a bigger girl, as in I was always taller, like, taller than all the boys in the class. And I was always had like broader shoulders. I was swimming a lot when I was a kid, so that kind of contributed to that. So I always looked bigger and stronger. And again, yeah, that not fitting in. So my goal was also subconsciously to be as small as I can be. And I think that's also it's such a big thing, because it's not just about, you know, your looks, but it's also about taking up space.
yeah,
And I think for women, we
totally,
are often taught that, yeah, that you shouldn't
totally.
be taking up space,
Yeah,
and you should be, yeah, and striving to be the smallest version of yourself.
mm,
It's something that a lot of women in my life did as well.
mm,
It was never about I want to work out because I want to feel stronger, I want to feel better. It was always I want to be smaller, I want to lose some weight.
exactly.
Um, and it is scary sometimes when you get to a point where you decide that, okay, I want to be healthier, and it's really scary to allow yourself to actually gain that healthy weight and kind of
Yeah.
allow your body to do its thing and regulate itself,
Oh my
basically,
God.
after years of kind of trying
Yeah,
to keep it as small as possible. So
totally,
yeah, it's a
totally
big step,
agree.
definitely.
I
Yeah.
think that's yeah, I think that's amazing point. And it's what I noticed, and you probably noticed when you've gone on your kind of healing journey, is that you when you like allow your body to hold that strength again, you're giving that permission back to your mind as well.
Yeah.
And the thing I realized is, as we both know, we're both actors and on that career journey as well, is like when you have these big dreams and goals, it's so hard to show up in your full power if you're kind of not truly even owning it in your bones and muscles. And I think it's coming from like a probably like centuries of women being told to be smaller. But yeah, it's not just physical small, like being petite. It's also doesn't it affects our mind and energetic space. And since me training in strength and allowing, I know I'm still in a lean body, but just allowing even like half a stone, or like that would be like 7 pounds or something back on, or a stone of weight, 14 pounds
Hmm.
or something, and allowing your body, it like something settles in you and you go, oh, I feel safer. It's a really weird feeling.
Yeah.
you feel like safe in your body, and you feel like I feel my best version of me, and obviously still on a journey of that. Of course, I think it's a bit inaccurate to say like fully healed, but it's definitely in a really strong place where you then are taking up less time worrying about your body, and then you can put that time into your dreams and your passions and your goals, and just have the presence to, because you own yourself more, you own your body. Like, even
Hmm.
I know a lot of tall people, like you said, maybe not yourself, but a lot of tall people, they hunch because they've
Yeah.
just trained like their body to be like a smaller self, which obviously impacts posture, which impacts your confidence. Because when you
Yeah.
stand tall, it kind of both physiologically and like psychologically, it helps your confidence. And I think I just feel really passionate about now. We're kind of in an era where it feels like there's no excuse now. Like we really should be questioning our beliefs if we think it's holding us back. And I know it's not as easy as that. I know that it is like it can take a decade of growth and healing, 1,000,000%, specifically when it's around like food and things, to get to a place. But I guess that the more we talk about it, and it might just spark someone to be like, I'd like to work on this as well, and I want to have that energetic confidence, and yeah, I want to start that journey, because it is a journey, isn't it? It
Yeah.
isn't something that happens overnight. Well, how would you describe you being a strong woman now? Like, what are the
Mm.
things that you think are and make you strong, like a strong?
Mm. Yeah, I think that thing you said about being feeling safe in your body, but
Mm,
also feeling safe with, or because I think mental strength especially is less about, being strong as in rigid and tough,
yeah,
but it's more about flexibility and also allowing yourself and to see that certain thoughts, they are, you know they don't mean anything. If you have a bad body image day, for example, you look in the mirror and think, oh god, this is not, I don't want to leave the house. You can like distance yourself from that thought and approach yourself with more kindness.
yeah,
I think that's strength for me, the fact that you
yeah,
have that flexibility in yourself, that you can take a step back, um, and know that you are in control, and not those thoughts are no longer in control of you. You don't need to allow them to control
yeah,
you. And yeah.
yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree. I think relaxing and having it's interesting because obviously when we do our acting, we tap into
Hmm.
these parts of us. So some of the characters that I play, I really tap into that like rigid strength, like the kind of
Yeah, yeah.
because we have
Toughness.
that parts in us, right? But the Katy, the Maria, like obviously we are the full package in real life. Obviously, when you play characters, we kind of really latch onto some parts, don't we? And that's really helpful. But as me as Katy, yes, we can both play those kind of maybe slightly leadery roles, but it's kind of also accepting the softness as well. And like now, genuinely, even though I have some form of consistency and I have my routine,
Mhm.
I just accept that, like, yeah, like you said, like some days is a bit off, or some days our skin might not be as great, or I can't, I'm too tired to go to the gym. And like it's
Yeah,
the strength to accept your decisions and your choices and have that compassion with yourself,
yeah,
and ownership of your decision. That because it is hard into, we do, it's hard when you compare yourself to the world, but hopefully, I don't know if we'll ever stop comparing, because it's how we like learn, and it's how we learn as humans. But I think when it comes to body image, having that kind of courage to just own your body and your genetics
yeah,
is a really refreshing place to be. Um, and I think that starts with uh kind of stop looking around, and just really focus on respecting your body, and what
yeah,
does my body need, and like that nourishment, and what do I want out of life as well? Because I think a lot of people, including myself, I used to be obsessed with like exercise,
Mhm.
um, to the detriment of it became more of my life's goal. And it's like, actually, I love fitness and I'm training for PT, but what I would like to empower people to know is that it's about kind of building that foundation,
Yeah.
to a strong foundation, as opposed to it being just your whole entire personality. And I think that's where addictions come into play, because whether it's dieting addictions or striving to be skinnier addictions, and not eating enough, which I've experienced. I don't know if, I think maybe you've touched on, you've experienced, but actually
Mhm.
it's just building like a lovely foundation so that it supports your, for me, it's so passionate. I'm passionate about, supporting your dreams and visions, because that's really what your soul wants. Your soul doesn't really want you to be skinnier. Your soul wants you to be glowing and
Mhm.
in full light, and go towards the things you really want in your heart. And it's having the strength to like let go of the chains of that kind of like exercise addiction, and that like clean eating, and kind of just welcome it all, which is what we were probably like as a child. It's just we've kind of built a lot of shit on top of it. And I don't know about you, but I feel now like I feel more like a child like me, where you just kind of get what your mum gives you, your food, and you eat a bit of this, you eat a bit of that, bit balanced,
Mhm.
you go and do some sport at school, but then you kind of go home and sit on the sofa and watch TV. Like children
Yeah.
are just such in the present and in that play, that they haven't put all these things on top of them yet. So
It's very intuitive, I think, and I
yeah.
think um, that's something that we're missing because
Mm.
sometimes we think that if we allow ourselves to be intuitive, we will just let ourselves go completely
Yes,
and never go to the gym again and
totally.
just eat junk food and that's it. But actually, when you work with yourself and when you really learn to listen to your body,
Mm.
obviously if you don't have any underlying medical issues or history with eating disorders, because that also can be difficult for people
Yeah,
who want to try intuitive eating, but still struggle with some disordered
yeah,
eating. That might be a different that's a different issue. But I think, yeah, what you said is very true. Learning about how to be intuitive and how to listen to your body and work with your body as opposed to against it all the time, and kind of keeping it in
totally.
check, keeping yourself in check all the
Yeah,
time. Um,
yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah, and the same with movement, I think, because you can get addicted and it can go the opposite way where you become super healthy and yeah, you feel guilty when you skip the gym. But
Yeah,
actually working with your body, working with your cycle as a woman, as someone who menstruates, is you have to take that into account as well. You're not
yeah,
going to be 100% every single time. um
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in a good. I think we've probably got a few minutes left, and it's going to cut out. But I think
Mhm.
I think I'm very grateful for the era we live in now, I must say, because there's some things I'm learning, like deep breathing, and I'm really curious about all this world of like connection. Anything that you feel connected back to yourself is such a like nice relieving exercise. It's just amazing. And um I think we have those tools now at kind of at our fingertips. And yeah, inevitably connecting back to yourself is just the best feeling ever, because you have your intuition, whether that's for food or just your goals, because really
Mhm.
I think we all know what we need and want. Um, and yeah, I think that's really what strength is. And from that place, you just feel the most grounded and courageous to kind of move through life. I think a lot of women maybe are still scared, like you said earlier, and I was. I mean, as I said, it happened for me accidentally. I'll tell you how it happened. So I was doing a lot of running, trying to get PBs. Like I wasn't doing it consciously. It was almost just like I was in a routine of it. It's like we just
Mhm.
get a bit addicted, and our body just like, oh, I'm going to go out for another run again. I'm going to try and hit a
Yeah.
PB. And then I got like a bacterial infection on my face. Really weird. It was like a bit of an eczema. And I went to a dermatologist and she said, oh, I think you're sweating too much and maybe moisturizing. And it's like causing this a little bit of an infection. And so because it was right here, made me feel very insecure. I went to work, I had this kind of big rash on my face. I stopped running to try and heal it. And I stopped for about a month. So this kind of 4 weeks off running just really like ripped away that routine, and it made me just soften into
Hmm.
it just kind of forced me to stop running. And I don't say running's bad, but I was running underfueled. I was running, like I wasn't having a food before because I thought I'd burn more calories. The very, very unhealthy
Yeah.
mindset. So again, not about the bad of running, but I think when you're just running for running's sake, running to burn the fat, running to burn the calories, it was a great break for me. It forced me into a break to soften down and question myself and question
Yeah.
my. But it was hard. It was like I was very anxious. I was really anxious, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to put weight on. Like
Hmm.
just an unhealthy response to me having to just soften down while my body's healing something, and that's how it happened for me. So I know that it's challenging for women to suddenly stop, or like, I don't know, some addictive behaviors with exercise. But it's hopefully maybe encouraging like stepping stones at a time to go.
Hmm.
Maybe instead of doing, all that running, make sure you are fueling. And then if you don't, maybe we could mix it up with some strength
Yeah.
training as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a long conversation that we can't quite squeeze in now, but
Hmm.
because I think every woman probably relates to something we've talked about today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, do you chat to many women about this or not really?
I do. I have I think which is sad to say, I have quite a lot of friends who, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know any one woman who has never ever struggled with body image or disordered eating or over exercising, which is sad to say, really sad to say.
Mm.
That it's so normal for us. And I think everyone's on their different journey, but yeah, definitely I definitely noticed that there is maybe a healthier attitude. I mean, I'm overgeneralizing now because I can definitely think of some people who are still in the middle of it and really in the thick of struggling with those thoughts and behaviors. And yeah, so it's difficult. But I think the more we speak about it, the better it's going to get. And hopefully, with social media as well, I try to make sure that I only follow people that have this healthy message, which is, someone like yourself, but women who show bodies that are not perfect, women who show exercise routines that are focused on strength and mobility instead of just, losing fat or getting smaller or getting toned, which I hate that word. I don't, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's so many, fads in the fitness industry that's so good to see people who have a healthy attitude towards it and want to have those conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And actually it's interesting. I'm conscious any second it's going to time out, but what I'm finding now when I'm doing a bit of market research into understanding like other PTs, and I'm reviewing lots of profiles, and I find it interesting because as I approach qualifying, I can tell that it's very easy for me. It would be much easier for me to go out there and just sell a kind of 3-month package for fat
Mhm.
loss. And I know as approaching that from a business point of view that that's the easier option. But I'm just really stubborn, and most
Mhm.
importantly, ethically, I do not want to do that. So I know, like, I see all these people doing that, and fair enough, because obviously one thing I would like to say here is that some women do need to lose some fat if they're in a heavier body that is not optimally healthy. Maybe that's the heavier body is really affecting the hormones, and they need to shift that to a better range. So I'm absolutely not anti-fat loss, but when it's just like blanketed out there, like that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Unfortunately, there are women like me and you who don't need to lose fat that latch onto that. And so I just think that yeah, so I know that my angle is more unique and more challenging and more sensitive, and it's going to take me maybe longer, but I'm kind of okay with that, because I think in the long run, I want to be a coach and an advocate for like that real sustainable long-term health. So, um, yeah, but it is definitely a challenging industry to come at that angle, because it's such an ingrained thing in us. And I know that every woman, it's such a fragile thing and so sensitive. But I have faith that in the coming years, with more representation, more people our age, I think it just happens organically as you get to your 30s, that you kind of just want something different for yourself.
Yeah.
And, you might be thinking about kids and you just want something better for your. I mean, I think like my future children, if I have a girl, like, I'm like, I absolutely want to be a better role model for that person, whether I have a child or not. And I'm kind of preparing that in my own head now. Like, I need to be the best version of me. So yeah, I think we can maybe stop it there, and thank you
Mhm.
very much. What I
Thank you.
will do with this, Maria, is obviously I'm